Additional aids and services are available to individuals with disabilities. To make such a request, please contact us by email, by clicking the Help tab in the PD portal, or at pdportal@tamu.edu, by phone, including Relay Texas at 1-800-441-7323, or in writing to Train PD, PD Portal Support, 4477 TAMU, College Station, Texas 77843. Both a transcript and accessible document of the content presented in this webinar can be found as resources in the course description. Click on the blue links under Course Resources in the description. When a link is clicked, a new browser window will open.
Dr. Jennifer Hills has been in the field of education for over 20 years. While working with elementary students in Arlington ISD, Jennifer learned the power of providing multi-generational learning experiences for families. Dr. Hills is the founder of the Leadership Academy of Creative Arts, TLACA, a nonprofit organization focused on building healthy community leaders. Jennifer also works as a professional development manager for Career Connected Department of Dallas College. In both roles, Dr. Hills creates and facilitates educational experiences that aim to help learners become better versions of themselves. And Jennifer considers herself a creative great who enjoys inspiring the light in everyone she works with. This will be her third Tech Intel. So welcome, Dr. Jennifer Hills, to this Tech Intel.
Greetings, everybody. Thank you so much, Anne-Marie, for that beautiful welcome. And thank you guys for joining our Tech Intel this morning. Mastering Mind Mapping with MindMup 2. As Anne-Marie has said, I will be your presenter this morning, and I am super excited to be here with you today. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's look at what we're going to be doing. We're going to examine the core features and functionalities of MindMup 2. We are also going to explore techniques and strategies for maximizing the effectiveness of mind mapping with MindMup 2. And then lastly, we're going to engage in a live demonstration of MindMup 2 to gain insights into the practical application of the mind mapping tool. I have two icons that I want to introduce you to today so that you can make sure that this presentation is interactive for you. The first one is our tag, You're It icon. When you see this icon, I'm going to be looking for a bold volunteer to switch places with me. You become the expert reader and I become the expert listener. Our second one is our open mic icon. And during our open mic time, that's when another bold participant is going to unmute their mic and answer the discussion question. So, what exactly is mind mapping? When we did the presentation with Lucidchart, we took a deep dive into just seeing exactly what mind mapping was. There was a brain neuron that had lines shooting out to other neurons that showed the connections of the brain making relationships to different thoughts. And mind mapping is very similar to that. Mind mapping is a versatile tool for unleashing your creativity and generating ideas. It mirrors how our brains naturally process information and empowers us to organize ideas while fostering collaboration with others. I want you to think of it as a visual representation of your thoughts, where you can effortlessly capture and connect ideas. This dynamic process taps into your brain's innate ability to make associations and think creatively. When I started mind mapping as a student who had ADHD and dyslexia, it allowed me to actually retain information from my instructors. And I was like, holy cow, I'm passing these quizzes now, because I was able to write down notes in the way that my brain naturally processes information instead of using preset templates like the Venn diagram or a KWL chart. So sometimes it's harder for me to process my information in that way instead of just letting my brain naturally flow. That's why I'm a big advocate for mind maps. All right, I have a question for you. How do you currently use mind mapping in your professional or personal life, if at all?
I think for me, on the administrative end, sometimes it's difficult to know like what department people are in. And so trying to connect those dots between who's the head of that department, but then who do you actually contact within that department for specific things to try and get done on a daily basis. Sometimes that's difficult. That's the one that just sticks out to me and comes to my mind.
That's a great idea. You know, when you do have those big departments, it's good to use that mind map to just map out where everybody is, what's everybody roles, and see the big picture. And then I also see in the chat box that we have some who've never used it but want to learn. Perfect. I love it. We're going to be learning how to use mind mapping today. It's just a seamless way to get your ideas out without the stress of worrying about what do I need to think about? You don't have to ask. You can just write what's naturally coming to your mind. So let's introduce MindMup 2 to each of you, which is an incredible tool that is designed to help mind map with ease. It's not just another mind mapping tool, though. You can use it for notes. You can use it for brainstorming, planning, and collaborating with others. If you are seeking a structured or efficient way to get your ideas out, MindMap is the tool for you, and MindMap has your back. But what exactly is MindMap, and why is it worth our attention today? Well, guess what? It's tag team time. This is where I want you to become the expert reader for me during this presentation. So let's take a look at our next slide and jump into it. I'm going to need another volunteer to read what's on the screen for me.
MindMap offers an intuitive and user-friendly interface for creating mind maps with ease.
So imagine a tool that mirrors how our brains naturally process information. As a matter of fact, if we look at this MindMup icon here, it looks just like that brain neuron. Here in the middle is that brain thinking and then sending out information into other parts, making connections. That's the essence of this beautiful MindMup tool. It allows you to create a visual representation of your thoughts, which helps you to see connections, organize your ideas, and manifest. Bring your concepts to life. All right, we have another one here. May we have another volunteer to read this slide?
You can start from scratch using mapping bubbles or toggle your map to productivity to create branches.
Yes. And that comma there, it just lets you know that there's more information that you can do, but it's up to you to discover how you want to use MindMap. You have the flexibility to begin your mind mapping journey in any way that you want to, because it's all about how you create the blank canvas. However, if you do feel like you need some guidance or you want to use some types of themes, MindMap offers different themes that you can use as well to help you organize your ideas. All right, last volunteer.
Generate an unlimited number of mind maps without cost and securely store them in the cloud.
Now, there's a difference between MindMup and MindMup 2. It's the same platform, but MindMup 2 is tied to Google integration, whereas MindMup, not so much. And the big difference is with MindMup, just the regular one, there are costs associated with that. However, if we go through MindMup 2 and integrate it with our Google, everything is free. Google takes care of it for us. And so we don't have to worry about not being able to attach things or not being able to put stickers on our mind map or not even being able to share. We can do all of those things in MindMup 2, which is what we're going to be looking at today. And that brings us to our last discussion question. What are some creative ways you've used mind maps beyond traditional brainstorming and note-taking? Linda says it's a quick way to develop a table of contents. And then Michelle says, I use it to teach ESL vocabulary. Okay, yes, a quick way to do that. That even makes me think of a scope and sequence, Linda. And then Michelle teaching that ESL vocabulary, you are spot on. Yes, indeed. You can definitely use MindMup for that. So why use MindMup? The first reason is shortcuts are so easy. It just makes you go, ooh. Ooh, it's just so easy to use. With an enter button, with a tab button, you're able to add those extra parent and child nodes and just keep connecting ideas. You don't even have to lift your mouse. So easy to use. The interface, it's really just for mind mapping. When we did Lucidchart, there was a lot in that interface and it became very overwhelming. MindMup is very different. It is for mind mapping by mind mappers. There is a versatile export option, meaning you can export your mind map as a MindMup. You can export it as a PDF. You can export it as a PNG, JPG. All of those options are available for you. There is an online sharing option with MindMup too, as long as you're using that Google interface. You're able to share it with different people and allow them to share their MindMups with you. And then, of course, lastly, that Google integration, which is so awesome because you're able to share all of your information on the cloud and then access it again in order to edit and refine your mind maps. Another reason why I love to use MindMup is you are able to have that real-time collaboration with projects and assignments. So imagine you're in a classroom and you have students who are either in computer labs or maybe you just have one computer. Regardless, students are able to work together to create those real-time collaboration pieces on MindMup. And then finally, you're able to build literacy skills in comprehension, accuracy, fluency, and expanded vocabulary, which I call CAFE. Build those CAFE skills for any of your learners, whether you're teaching K-12, HSC, or ESL students. All of these can be gained and built with using MindMup. Let's take a look at some MindMup examples. Here is an example of space travel being mapped out using MindMup. And I love this mind map because it shows you the different types of things you can do on MindMup. For example, here we have space travel as the parent node. And as you can see, it's blue. So you can color categorize things on your mind map, which is very different than this orange one here. Another thing I like about this map is it shows you an expanded version of a child here and its different details and a collapsed version. So you're able to collapse and expand as needed to give you space on your mind map. Someone mentioned earlier that mind mapping can be good with ESL students. This is a MindMup of African American Vernacular English, which is my first language. So I have a lot of students who speak African American Vernacular English. And sometimes when they're talking to me, I'm like, hey, make sure you're using academic English. But I want to also show a cultural appreciation to the African American Vernacular English. So for example, I had a student not too long ago who was very worried about passing that GED exam. And I told him, hey, man, you can do this. I believe in you. Come to class tomorrow and we'll continue to work harder. His response was, that's what's up. Appreciate it. I bet. Well, I sent him this scaffold and I said, I understand what you're saying, but I want you to translate that into academic English. He was able to use this mind map to say, oh, I said, good. Thank you. Goodbye. So again, just providing your students with different types of ways that they can use their vocabulary, giving them scaffolds using a mind map is also a great idea of how to use this tool. All right, so there are two ways for us to explore and engage in MindMup. I'm going to show you both ways. The first way is to go into the Google Workspace, okay? So I'm going to escape our presentation here. And I am going to visit the Google Workspace. This is the Google Workspace Marketplace. I'm not sure if anyone has ever seen this, but this is a place where you're able to get apps that will then be here on your array of Google apps. So if you ever wondered, how in the world can I get more apps here in my app button? That is through the Google Workspace Marketplace. Here in the search bar, we're going to type in the word Mind. And as you can see, it already toggles MindMup 2 for Google Drive. Once you click that, you're able to see the actual app here. You can click that app and then press the blue button to say install. Now, of course, mine says uninstall because I already have it. But if you don't, then you just press install. And what happens is once you click your Google Apps button here at the top of your screen, you're able to scroll down. And look what we have here, our MindMup for Google Drive. When you click that, it pulls up MindMup 2, zero friction mind mapping, tightly integrated with Google Apps, okay? That's one way to get to MindMup 2. The second way to get to MindMup 2 is to simply go to google.com and in your Google search box, type in MindMup 2. It is normally the first link to show up. Once you click it, it takes you right to where we were with MindMup. So you're able to choose which way you want it. If you feel like you'll use this often, I will just say go ahead and add it to your Google Apps, but it's not necessary. You can still get to it just from the website. It's the same with your telephone. You can visit this on the website on your phone, or you can go through your Google Drive apps and open it on your phone as well. The next step that you're going to want to do is go ahead and sign in with your Google before you create a new map. All I have to do is click sign into my Google, and now it says you are signed in as Dr. Lauren Hill. Let's go ahead and create a new map here just by clicking the button, and it takes us into our MindMup interface. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to want to title your map, and I'm going to do my map from a personal standpoint, and then I'm going to ask for a volunteer to help me map this from a different point of view, okay? I'm going to start first, and I'm just going to do mine on cooking more at home because that is what I'm trying to do. Man, Uber Eats has made me spend too much money, and I need to cook more at home. So that's what I'm going to try to process on my mind map here. Before I begin this, I want to just show you the same different things that we have here. First being the file button. It's kind of the same. We always have this menu, but there are some differences. On this file button, you're able to turn on autosave and publish. And again, when we talked about those templates and themes, this is where you're able to choose, do you want a standard map that's like a bubble map, or do you want a map with straight lines? Some people like the bubbles and the circles. Some people just want to have like a tree, a mapping tree instead of a mapping with bubbles. Hopefully that makes sense. And then you're able to open, import, make a copy, and download in all of these different types of formats. You have your insert button where you're able to insert different things. You can edit different things, view, and the help button. But really all you need is right here on our MindMup ribbon. All of these things are accessible to you, and I'm going to show you how to use these things as I build out the mind map, okay? So I'm going to double click here in the middle and go ahead and type in cooking more at home. Now for accessibility, this is kind of hard to see. So one thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use the zoom in toggle to zoom in and make it bigger. You can also zoom out as needed and recenter as needed. Another thing I'm going to do is change the format of color on here so that I can see it clearly. If I go here to this change node style, I can see what I currently have, and maybe I just need to make the text a little brighter so I can see it clearly and the background a little darker. Now I'm able to see it clearly and start processing information. If I press the enter button, it gives me another parent node. I don't want a parent node, so I'm going to undo that. If I click the tab button, it gives me a child. That's what I want when I want to connect, okay? So again, you can enter or tab, but I wanted a child first. So when you want that child, do tab. I have to put my words in. So let's say for Monday, let's click tab again. I want to do meatloaf. Now, keep in mind, I'm starting to label things for Monday now, right? So instead of pressing tab again, this time I'm going to press enter. And now it has created another child for Monday. Maybe I want green beans. I'm going to press enter. And mashed potatoes. That's for Monday. And now I'm done with Monday. Again, I have not had to lift the mouse. I'm just pressing enter and tab. Let's try that again. I'm going to go back to my parent here. This time, I'm going to do Tuesday, okay? Now, keep in mind, if you don't want to use the tab and the enter, you can also use the shortcuts here at the top. So if I wanted to enter another child node, I can use this shortcut here and do Tuesday. I love that it looks like it's going to cover my bubble, but once I press the tab button, it automatically spaces it for me. Now, you know Tuesday is Taco Tuesday, so we're going to do tacos with enter button, rice, enter button, beans. And just like that, I have Monday and Tuesday. Let me show you some cool things that you can do here. So let's say for Tuesday, I want to add a sticker because again, it's Taco Tuesday. We're going to toggle a sticker here. I love using stickers. So if you grab your stickers and let's just say I want to look up a taco, there it is. I can push this taco button. And as you can see, let me zoom in. There's the taco on top of Tuesday. So you're able to use stickers to put on your MindMup as well. And then I want to add one more child so I can show you how to also move things around. So I'm going to do this again, and I'm going to press the tab button. There goes another child. Now, again, take a look at this, because when I enter this, it looks like it's about to get crowded over here again, right? So let's do Wednesday. And for Wednesday, let's just say we want to keep it nice and healthy. We're going to have salad, fruit, and for dessert, we can have water. Okay, so here is our mind map. And as you can see, it's kind of spaced it out for us, but maybe I want to move Wednesday down here. All I have to do is pick it up, move it over, and it moves to where I want to move it. Just like that, okay? So you're able to move it over a little bit. You can bring it in. It's very flexible with how you want to use it. Now, let's keep in mind about images, because a lot of times we like to use words, but maybe we have our students who are not comfortable using words and they want to use images. If I click this salad node right here and I want to insert a child image node, I can click this button right here to get some pictures. I'm going to go into my uploaded files, find me a download here. Let's just use our charcuterie board here. It adds the picture as well, right in the format. So you're also able to add pictures. And if you don't want the picture, you can always click it and delete it, and it's gone. Maybe you wanted a sticker instead, you can always add that sticker. So it's up to you, because sometimes when you're trying to save, it might say it's too big because you add those pictures. But when you're using it through Google, there's no size requirement for you. So you can always do that. Finally, you can attach things. So if you want to attach a file or attach a recipe or even make a note of a recipe, you're able to do that using the attach notes or the attach file option. Again, you just click that. You look for a file here and you upload it straight into your mind map.
So Dr. Hills, there's a good question in the chat pod. It says, can you resize those pics?
Let me toggle here and let me find a good picture of a taco. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Google and grab an image. So I need to go to the tools button and make sure the usage rights here or Creative Commons license or for commercial or other licenses. So I'm going to do that first, which is going to toggle pictures that I'm able to reuse. So now I'm going to grab this picture. It looks delicious. And hopefully this allows me to right click and save image as a JPG. And here it is, JPG image. So I'm going to go back to my screen, go to my tacos and insert a child node. Go to my uploads here, select a file from my device, and it should be the first one here. All right, it is nice and saved. So let's see if we can resize this image. I am clicking it here. It doesn't look like this image is letting me resize it, but it does allow me to move it. So keep that in mind. That was a great question. It's not like I can make it smaller or bigger, but what I can do is just zoom out my map so that I can see everything clearly here. And keep in mind, you can also change the sizes of your fonts using these font changing sizes, as well as the position based off of the aligned text here. If there's ever a reason where you have this side pane up and you want it to be removed, you can hide the sidebar and remove it. And then lastly, if there's ever a time where you want to edit all of these at the same time. So let's just say Monday, you wanted to give it the green light because we know we're having Meatloaf Monday. I can click this Monday here and then go up here to select subtree. It selects all of my nodes here under Monday. And let's say I want to change this to green. So I'm going to change my background to a nice green. I want to make sure my text is accessible. So I'm going to change that to a nice white. And it changed the whole tree for me, the whole side of Monday for me, without me having to go one by one and change the colors. All right, so I have designed my tree. Here it is right here. I'm able to save it. I'm able to publish it and share it with others if I so desire to do so. But now I want someone else to design a tree. So I'm going to start with a new blank slate. I'm going to ask for a bold volunteer to unmute their mic. And you just tell me exactly what you want me to do, and I will be building your tree live using MindMup. And after we build your tree, I'm going to show you how to take your tree and insert it into our presentation. I'm going to click the MindMup button. I'm going to leave all of my changes here. And I'm going to go back into our MindMup just as we did before by going into my apps, scrolling down here and clicking MindMup. And as you can see in my Google Drive here, it took me to my MindMups. So it saves all of your MindMups in a folder on Google Drive where you're able to get to them with ease. Okay, I'm going to create a new map. Do I have a volunteer?
Okay, so let's do one about the gym.
Okay, going to the gym. Real quick, I'm going to change this so that we can make sure we can see the text very clear here. Tell me the different categories.
Let's say going to the gym. So on Monday, what are we going to be working out? For Monday, working out biceps and back. And then for Tuesday, we'll do triceps and chest. Then on Wednesday, we'll do some cardio and abs. Thursday, we'll do legs.
Thursday, we're going to do legs.
Friday, we'll do shoulders and more abs.
Now, Yoli, I love how when you did yours, it has it all leaned this way, which is cool because, again, it's just allowing you to just get those ideas out very quick. And while Yoli was giving her information, again, I did not pick up that mouse button. I used Enter and Tab to go between the nodes. Now, if you end up getting a map like this where everything leans over and you may not want it all like that, keep in mind that you can move things over as needed in order to expand your map. Look at that. Great plan. And let's also think about once Monday is passed, let's just say Yoli went to the gym and she did her biceps and she did her back. She can collapse this tree to say, done. Check it off her list. And then once she does Tuesday, again, if you come up to this icon here where it says collapse subtree, you're able to collapse the trees that you have completed, or maybe you don't need to see the information. Yoli, just curious, is there any other thing that you would do to categorize your mind map here?
Yes, I'll add pictures, like pictures of, for example, the type of exercises I want to do for biceps. And I do have a question for you. Can you link with a video in there?
I think right now it's only allowing for images. However, you can put links in here. So let's say you had a YouTube video of the biceps. You can paste that link into here or add it as another node here where you can paste the link and then go and view the video. Are there any other questions? I'm going to find that bicep image and I'm going to insert it here. Let's see if I can save this image. And we're going to click the biceps button, which I think has been collapsed here. So if we need to expand it, we can go to our expand subtree to open it back up. Again, you click that node, hit that button to insert an image, and then you're able to insert your image right in. Just give it a time to load, and there it is. Another thing, another shortcut is if you just right-click on the node, your shortcuts come right away, right under it. So you're able to use these tools here without having to come back up to the ribbon. So you're also able to right-click and edit different things. Let's say I wanted to put a note on here and say 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups. So you're also able to write down maybe the exercises you want to do.
Ooh, we just had a great question, Dr. Hills. So Singrid asks, suppose we want to go shopping for our exercising activities. Okay, we want to go shopping on different days. Can we connect Monday shopping with Monday gym so everything with Monday can be attached?
Oh, okay. Okay, let's see. Let's find out. I'm going to move going to the gym over here, and I'm going to insert another root node that says going shopping. Now, of course, it put it there. Let's see if I can move it to this side of the map here. Let me zoom in so that you can see here as our map is getting bigger. And again, for accessibility reasons, I love to just go ahead and quickly change this into things that we can see. So now we have going shopping versus going to the gym. Let's see if we can connect our Monday node to going shopping. So I'm assuming that we're going to do another Monday node here. And let's just say we're going to shop for dumbbells. So what I would do, I'm going to use this connect to another node option to see if this works. I want you to connect to you. Okay. Not sure how to exactly connect it to the way we can see it because it's not necessarily connecting. Maybe there's another way that we could do that. Let's try it one more time here. Connect node to this node. Oh, there we go. Now, I'm not sure if that's exactly what you were trying to do, but I'm going to do that again. I'm going to press Control Z and get our go shopping over here. I'm going to take out Monday, but I am going to also put what we need to shop for. Let's just make this say equipment since I'm not getting that one. Now, let's connect it. Here we go. So I'm going to click. Let me zoom in so we can see. I'm going to click here, right click to get our short menu, our quick menu here. And I'm going to click connect node. And what you have to do is just go ahead and click the node that you want to connect it to. I was trying to drag it over there, but if you click the node you want to connect it to, it automatically adds a connection arrow. And then you just need to move it to where maybe it's not interfering with the biceps picture. And now you have connected going shopping to the Monday. I did not know that we could do this too, and I love it because now I can see myself making even more connections. And if you want to do it backwards, let's do it backwards here. Let's take Monday and say that we need to go shopping. So let's connect the node and click here. And then the arrow moves to the other direction. So it's all about how you want the arrow to look and which direction you want it to face. Now we are going to import into our Tech and Tell. I'm going to go ahead and take this one. And I'm missing my menu here. So if you ever see that, just toggle here and it will open your menu. And let's go ahead and export this as a image. It did say this file is too large. So again, sometimes those pictures make it a little too large. So we're going to delete our picture just in case. And let's make sure our going shopping is in a good position there. Perfect. Let's try that again and see if it works this time. All right, we're exporting. Perfect. Now we're able to either save to our drive, send it to someone, open it, or download. I'm going to click download, which is going to open it into a nice picture here. And then this is where I'm going to right click and click save image as. I'm going to save this right into my download folder. And now we're going to go back to our presentation here. Insert an image. So we're going to upload it from the computer. There she is. And boom, our mind map is directly in our presentation. And that's how you can create mind maps using MindMup. Yes, yes, yes. This is definitely good for mapping out ideas for papers, getting your students to think about different ideas, getting your resume ideas out, how you're going to categorize your skills and things like that. Are there any questions or other comments regarding MindMup?
Is there a way to import one mind map into one that you've just done? So like you've created one, and can you somehow put it into it?
That's one I am not sure of. I haven't tried to put two mind maps on one same screen, but we do have an import option. Now, I'm not sure if I'm able to import this as an image, but I won't be able to edit it. Or if I save it as a mind map, if I can import it as a mind map with two of them. But that is a very good question.
And how do we access MindMup 2? So maybe going back and showing.
So let me escape here. The best way for me is to either go directly to the website by going to google.com and typing in MindMup 2. This will lead you straight to the website, and it is from here that you can create a new map. That's one way. You can also go to the Google Workspace Marketplace. Once you go here, if you type in MindMup 2, it toggles here for you, and you're able to click the app and install it. Once you install it in this way, then you're able to find it anytime you need to under your Google Apps. Are there any more questions?
So you could have 3 or 4 or 5 people working on this thing at the same time, right?
If you use that Google integration, yes, they're able to go ahead and jump on in there and work on that with you.
That could be a great collaborative piece in a classroom if you wanted your students to do something together.
Definitely.
And my last question, it looked like all of the children are moving to the right. If you were on one of those maps moving to the right, could you then create some arrows going to the left?
Yes, it does move in that way. So you're able to pick it up and move it. Or as we did, like the connect the node, just make sure that when you connect those nodes, you choose the one you want to choose first, because then the arrow is going to go away from that one to the node you're connecting with. And it's all about how you can move and manipulate those as well. So if it doesn't do it automatically, you're able to move and manipulate them to do what you want them to do.
Is there a way to have multiple users engaging in the same mind map?
I'm thinking in terms like, you know, how we've used Padlet, where you can have multiple users go in and comment. I was wondering if this program has the same kind of capacity or ability.
No, it doesn't have that capacity like Padlet, because this is really more about you just taking your ideas and expanding them. It would be so nice. It would be so nice for it to have it. But for this one, it's more just about your mind mapping tool. So it doesn't go that in depth with the collaboration. But again, as educators, it's all about how we use this tool. So there can be times where, again, if they're all in the same classroom, you can have them build on it. But it's kind of difficult when they're not on the same device.
So this is more, it's like a shared document where people just have access to it and then they can go in and type.
Yes, real time.
And then you keep mentioning Lucid. I didn't get to attend your presentation last week. So Lucid is a similar platform or similar app?
Yes, it was last month. It's a similar platform. It's also Google integration. And if I'm not mistaken, Anne-Marie, it will be offered in the PD portal.
Yes, it takes a good 5 to 6 weeks, but in about 5 to 6 weeks, you'll be able to view it in the portal.
All right. If there are no more questions, Anne-Marie, I'm going to turn it back to you.
I want to thank Dr. Jennifer Hills, and I do also want to thank Yoli for her contributions and gym routine. So thank you so much, Yoli. All right, everybody, take care, and until next time.
We hope you enjoyed this pre-recorded webinar. After you have passed the final test with a score of 80% or greater and have received your certificate of completion, please take a few moments to complete the course evaluation. Participant feedback helps Train PD at TCall continue to provide high-quality professional development. To leave a course feedback, please go to the completed portion of your transcript. To do this, hover over the My Learning tab and select View Your Transcript. Click on the drop-down arrow next to the word Active and select Completed. Then, click Evaluate in the drop-down menu next to the course you just completed. Please note that your feedback is greatly appreciated.